What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 181 of Value Town. I'm ChanmanV, and of course, Gaara is joining me. But we've got a special guest today. Slyssa's here joining us. Streamer, player, F2K person.
Yep, that's me.
But it's going to be a fun day today, guys. Like, what have you guys been doing? Just besides Puzzle Lab, have you guys been doing anything else besides that in the last day or two?
The puzzles are hurting my brain.
I know.
It's just wrecked right now. So much puzzling.
I don't know how you guys do it on stream. Like, I could never do. I remember doing like some of the first adventure modes on stream, and it was like so embarrassing, like messing up, that I just like decided, no, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. So, but yeah, Gaara, like both of you guys, Slysssa, I don't know how you do that. Like, it's crazy.
I love it, because you see how difficult it is. And everyone in the chat is like, "Oh, this is so easy!" Like even the absolute hardest puzzles, where all the top streamers are struggling. Like Colento Dog, they're all like Tights. Literally, like had a breakdown at one of the puzzles. But everyone in the chat is like, "Oh my god, first try, easy mode. Oh, this is the easiest puzzle."
Yeah. I mean, I try not to watch anybody, right? Because I didn't want any kind of spoilers. So I haven't seen how everybody's done, but definitely they're finishing quicker than I am, because I feel like some of the streamers finished in several hours, and
I think they're cheating. I think everyone
they're cheating.
No, they're giving up. Like, there's no way.
Oh, you think they're looking at answers? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
You think
because
so? That would be lame, dude, if that's what they're doing.
The puzzle mode is super great, but that's the hardest issue. Is just that like people, they want to tell you the answer's so bad. My chat and I are almost having fights about it. I'm like, no, guys, please don't tell me the answers, and I'll put them in emote-only mode so that they can't tell me anything. But they want to help me out so bad because they've seen somebody else do it already.
Yeah.
Or they see it before me, and it's sometimes the case.
Yeah, so I mean, I wish I could just sit down and just play through it all at once. So I haven't quite gotten a chance to do it, but might as well just go straight into Puzzle Lab. We're going to be talking about Puzzle Lab clearly today, because it just literally just came out yesterday, the new adventure mode or single player mode for the Boomsday project. So yeah, let's just dive into it. I mean, how many of you guys finished? Like, how many of you guys played? How many of you guys finished?
I finished 2 wings.
2 wings. Okay, good. I've done one. I've just done the clear the board one.
I've done 2 wings and 1 Dr. Boom.
Oh, wait, is that wait, are we talking about even the Dr. Boom completing wings, or?
I didn't do one of them because I had to get off stream, but I wanted to finish it on stream. But no, I've finished one of the Dr. Booms, and I'm almost done with the other one.
Yeah, I finished 1 Dr. Boom. So if we're talking completing, that includes Dr. Boom. So I've only done the 1, which is the clearing board. But it's more of a time thing.
Yeah, like time wise, the Dr. Boom ones take like 4 to 5 hours, if not.
Yeah. Oh my god, the clearing the board one, literally, dude. It took me like an hour and a half to 2 hours, I think, by itself. And I'm still not sure how I like. I still think I might have run into the solution a little luckily there at the end.
It's funny because I was doing it on a call with Patra, but we were doing it separately, so we weren't actually working together.
Yeah, not helping
really.
each other.
We were just kind of there for moral support almost, and like maybe talking out a few things. And for the Dr. Boom section of Mirror, we were just struggling so hard. And in the end, I think it took us maybe an hour, not sure, but we finished at the exact same time with 2 completely different ways to complete the puzzle.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize
I thought
that
they'd all have to be one way. And we solved them 2 completely different ways at the exact same time.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, whoops. I'm showing the wrong thing here. Whoops. That's not supposed to happen. Hold on. Let me bring up this thing. Yeah. So for those of you that haven't gotten a chance to play the Puzzle Labs, just to give you just an idea of as to what it is, there's 4 wings, or what used to be wings, at least in all the other adventure modes. But they're basically puzzle types. So we've got a lethal puzzle, like find the lethal. You've got a mirror one, is what Slysssa was talking about, where you just basically want to match your opponent's board. You know, whatever moves it takes to match your opponent's board. and then board clear, which is figure out how to wipe the entire board, including your minions, and then survival, which is how to get to 30 health, like these different ways to get to 30 health. Because the hero power of your opponent or the whoever the lab experimenter person is does 29 damage to you. So you have to get to 30 to survive. So each of these wings, they have 4 like mini bosses, and then you have Dr. Boom at the end of each one of these. So there's like, isn't there like 25 plus? I think there's like 25 plus puzzles per wing.
I mean, yeah, each wing has 4 bosses, but then there's at least 6 rounds within that. So there's so many. Which wings did you guys do?
I mean, I've done them all, but I only finished board clear so far.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like halfway through the others. So, hopefully I can get to them like today and tomorrow.
I finished board clear and lethal. So because I thought people told me those are the hardest, so I did those first.
Oh, you went with
you went the hard. Yeah, that's my boy. That's what we do, man. We go after the hard ones.
And it was hard.
They were.
I'm not like these random people
man.
In the chat like, oh, this was easy mode. No, it was hard. Like like the last Dr. Boom map, I think fairy mode is super, super, super difficult. Like this is just. It took me so long. Like it's really hard, and it's crazy how much content it is, right? Compared to, it's so much content.
It's a lot of content. I mean, and I think it starts getting just a tiny bit challenging after you get towards the end of the third wing. Like then the 4th wing, I think it starts to get to the mode where you have to think just a little bit, right? But then there's the huge jump to Dr. Boom. Dr. Boom is just way harder than everything else. It's kind of crazy. It's like going difficult mode basically in one fell swoop.
The problem sometimes too is the Dr. Boom, you think it's extremely difficult when really there's a really simple explanation there. Yeah. And you overlook it for an hour.
Not the board clear. The board clear one was not an easy one.
Survival mode. Yeah. That one. I overlooked something very simple for a long time.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
I had a breakdown once I realized what it was.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do, right? Generally, like we don't want to. We're trying not to spoil anything, guys. So we're not going to show any of the puzzle or anything. But there's a lot of times they just add extra cards in your hand. Like they try to debate you with like a lot of like different cards and get you thinking in different ways. So there's definitely some of that in.
And the best thing, like I can advise people, is don't cheat. Like don't look up the answer. You like even it doesn't matter how frustrating it is. It's so rewarding if you find the solution in the end. And it is really challenging. If you do it without any help, without any cheating, it is super, super challenging.
Yeah, I mean, this is what gaming used to be. Like you're supposed to solve things yourself. Before the internet and ways to cheat. Basically, you're supposed to figure it out. So I agree with Gaara. Do not, and I think Slysssa is the same, obviously, because you don't want to be helped.
Could if you would have gotten packs as a reward and you really wanted those packs, maybe. But at the same time, I think that's why they didn't do that. They didn't give you packs at the end because they really want you to try on your own to accomplish that final goal.
Yeah, it would have been, I would have said it's hard to come up with these puzzles. Like, I mean, believe me, I think just coming up with questions for stuff like Streamer Showdown is already difficult. So this is another level. It's like definitely harder. But it'd be cool if it just varied just a little bit, and maybe there were like 3 ways to finish it, but they didn't have to change it too much, just like little aspects to that. But guaranteeing that there's a finish I think that's probably where the difficult part is with having some variance to it. But yeah, so overall, I mean, I can't wait to, definitely try the rest of them. Which one's your favorite? Like out of the 4, which type is your favorite?
I personally like the lethal one. That's why I did that first. I wanted to see like the most complicated thing they can come up with. And man, the Dr. Boom for lethal one. You have all the different difficult lethal combos. You have the patron one, like the most ridiculous patron board. You have like the
spoilers.
I mean, I don't.
That's fine, patron. No, I'm just saying it's just like it's
not really spoilers. Yeah.
It's just like
and then there's like the inner fire like lethal ones.
Yeah.
With the most ridiculous
I know which one you're talking about.
And there's like this new, what is this guy called? The 02
Yeah, it's the
whichever.
test. Uh,
The definite one that gives you. Oh my god!
it's not test dummies, but if you've played the combo priest, I think you have an easier time with some of these. But if you haven't
I
played the combo
agree.
priest, yeah,
I was doing mirrors and I
Mhm.
didn't play. I haven't played a lot of priest, combo priest at least. And during it, I'm just staring at it like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I missed out on so much training. But in the same time, these puzzles I feel like have boosted my skill levels. So.
Yeah, it does get you into thinking. I mean, I played some APM priest, and that some of those particular ones were really easy for me because of it. It's just like you're already in that kind of frame of thinking, so you kind of know what some of the cards do, so and combinations do, right? So, but yeah, I can see how it could help you though. It could help you see the combos better in APM priest.
I was thinking when I did this puzzle mode, it's like they should replace the tutorial with an easier version of this. It would be so good. It's such a good tutorial.
Like, the finding lethal, they could. Yeah.
No, all of the ones, like learning how to board clear with the cards like the file and whatnot, and finding lethals, and I think you really learn the game.
Well, I know for me, whenever people come into my stream and ask what they should do if they're a new player, I always suggest that they try the solo adventures because you learn so much through them.
Yeah, now that they're free, yeah, I mean, totally,
especially because they're free now.
Mm-hmm. That totally makes sense. I don't think the mirror one has that much application. There's just not that many cards that are, or minions or stuff that are placement centric, right? So I think that maybe in the future, if it was like the chess mode thing, then the mirror thing would make sense. But the other three, I can totally see that there's in-game application to all of them.
The mirror is nice because you can learn like, oh, I can apply certain spells to the opponent's minion, not just my own minions.
Yeah, that's true. There's a couple that I was like, oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Like doesn't say my own minion.
That's right. Yeah. Just so you don't, Artosis Sylvanas like anytime soon. But yeah, so I think my favorite is I don't like survival. I mean, I think survival is my least favorite. But I'd say I don't know. I kind of like the mirror one, to be honest. I don't think the mirror one's as hard, but I kind of like. I appreciate them making it because it's probably the hardest one to make.
I like the mirror one.
Yeah,
I only did mirror survival, and definitely mirror for me.
That I can imagine them screwing those questions up, like, like, oh yeah, one more move. When they're designing these things, it'd be really cool for them to make a video as to how they design the levels. Like, how are they when they make them? Like, what does it actually look like? What tool are they using to actually make them? Because I would be really, really interested in seeing how they do that, because that's really, really cool. Because the mirror one is not something that you would normally think about, right? Lethal, you could literally be taking snapshots from every single game, right? Like whatever final play there is, and then find the best ones. That's how they did that. Who knows? But
I think they did they do that with Toast?
Was that actually true, or was Toast just memeing there with that tweet?
He might have been memeing me.
I think he was memeing
got
with
me,
that.
but
maybe, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. But that's that's actually a good way. That's probably what I would have done. I would have just done a query on all their games. Final play, how many moves? Like what are the final plays that took the most moves? And then just take a look at what those plays look like. And then those could have been just the lethal puzzles, or picking from them. That one's probably the easiest one, actually, I bet, to put together.
The
lethal one.
Yeah, because the lethal ones you can actually pull from real game data.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can snapshot like exactly the final board states of games.
I don't remember if the lethal one had artificial cards, because some of these modes have like these cards that you only have in the mode. And I think the lethal one in the last map of Dr. Boom, you have like a card that shuffles 2 copies in your deck, which we don't have in the game.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like the clear one has like destroy all your own minions and stuff like that. So yeah, to your point, maybe they did make it from scratch then.
It took me a long time to find one of lethal one. You have to do 1,000 damage, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Really? I didn't know
Yes.
that. And the
One,
final one?
like,
Wow. Okay.
it's you know what's so funny? Like, it's no spoilers, but the second to last one, you have to deal, I think, 400 face damage, and you're so happy when you solve it after like an hour or so. And then the next map, you
It's
have
a
less
thousand.
resources, and you have to do basically with the same cards with less
I
resources.
mean, how
you
long
have
does
to
it
do
take to
1,000.
do that
It
much
took me
damage?
hours.
Gosh, how long does it take you to do that much damage? You know what sucks is if you do that, you figure out some kind of damage combo, and then you get to like 990, and then it ends, and you're like, "Oh crap!" Like,
Right there.
yeah, how long?
Wow.
How long of an animation does it take to even do that much damage? Does it take a long time, Gaara? Like,
Yeah.
it must take like
Yes.
minutes. To
Yeah,
do that.
I go to the bathroom while I do a try because.
Oh my
the whole
god.
thing.
Oh wow. Okay.
But the best thing is, like, for like 3 hours or so, I was 500 damage of lethal, and you're like, you think this is the best I can do, and you're still 500 damage of lethal. It's hard to deal 400 damage already. Like, you have to play the cards in the perfect order, and you're like,
Okay.
how am I
I
gonna
can't wait
squeeze
to
out
see that.
500 more damage?
I can't wait to see that one. That one's gonna be a trip.
I think, but it is probably the second hardest one. The bot clear final boss is probably. the
Oh
hardest.
my god, dude. I was like racking my brain last night. It was like 3 in the morning, and I'm just like staring at it. I'm just like, oh my god. It's like
You kind of have to
tried
step
so-
away because
yeah,
otherwise it's really hard to see a second line. Like, you're on your one line that you
Yeah.
think is right and it
That's
doesn't
right.
work. So it's really hard to be like, okay, where in this line is it wrong? Or is there a different line that I don't see? So you almost have to step away from the game for a second to try and see something
I know what you
else.
mean. I totally agree. There were times where I was just like literally just doing random things just to see if I picked up on anything. Just to
Right,
see.
right. You're just throwing
Yeah.
out cards like
It's
this.
yeah,
What
let's just do this what I'm supposed to do at the end first and see what happens. And, it's just whatever.
That actually worked for me once, so
right.
I'm okay with that theory.
Right.
The worst one, the worst feeling is when you feel like you're on the right track, but it's a complete wrong approach.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking for hours, this has to be the approach. But it's not.
Okay, so here's a. I don't know how we're gonna do this without actually revealing like details.
I think
of
it's
it,
a good tip, but it's
okay.
not a
So,
spoiler.
what is your most embarrassing map so far, or one so far? I can describe mine. I can definitely describe mine. It was just.
I can also describe mine.
Okay.
I can describe mine, yeah.
Okay, so mine was the one with the angry chicken, which was
Mine
like.
too.
Oh my god!
haven't done
I
this
felt
one yet.
like so stupid. I felt so
You have 2
stupid.
cards. You have
Oh,
2 cards.
Yep,
Like,
there's like 2 cards, and like I'm like, oh my god, I can't see the answer to this. It was so embarrassing. Yeah, and then it was finally like, oh my god, okay. After just like literally putting stuff on random things for a second, I'm like, oh,
You
okay.
should have said something else, but you
Yeah.
spoiled it.
Yeah, my bad.
Mine was
No, that's not a spoiler. I mean, it's not though. It's not. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. Shit. I don't know. Spoilers, guys. Sorry if that is a spoiler. I'm not sure. It's only. I mean, it's just describing at least the board, right?
You should have said Abomination and you have 2 cards in hand and you can't figure out the board clear.
That's
how I would have
that's a
described it.
different one, dude. That was
No,
a
it's the
different
same.
one.
No, it's that one.
Mm,
It's the angry chicken one. I don't want to say more.
okay, all right.
You
We
spoiled
won't say
it.
anymore. We won't say anymore. Okay. So, Slysssa, which one was yours? Which one was yours?
mine. Oh my gosh, it was the survival mode Dr. Boom, and
Survival mode, Dr. Boom? That's embarrassing. I mean, really?
it was
That's-
because I don't know how to say it without giving too much away.
But the answer was just like an obvious
It-
thing or something?
It's like a very obvious thing that
Okay.
you should know. I mean, I've racked my brain for hours, and it's just because like one card,
Just didn't realize something about that card or something?
yeah. Just like it's like a basic Hearthstone knowledge that like
Okay.
split my brain for an hour. So
Gotcha.
Like-
Gotcha.
Slysssa is like, the Frothing Berserker one with the patrons. It took me 2 tries. I didn't see
Easy.
64 damage immediately. That was pretty embarrassing.
But
besides
exactly.
that,
No, I think I had like a meltdown on stream and went into crazy mode, and because my chat so badly wanted to tell me, and I just kept putting them in emote only mode. Don't tell me.
Emote only mode. Wow.
They can't tell you anything.
That's true. That's true.
Unless they try and use emotes
I don't
somehow.
think I've ever been in a chat that's emote only. Wow. Okay.
Oh, it's great. It's super
That's
fun.
Cool. That's cool. That's actually a really good idea. By
I do it all the time.
Yeah, good stuff. But anyways, kudos to Blizzard for doing this. I mean, this is one of their best single player modes for sure. And I think Dungeon Run in Hunter or Monster Hunt was like a great one too. So right now I feel like they're on a roll, in terms of these expansion single player modes, and keep doing it because everybody's enjoying it. I think it just it creates at least this new content, right? It's like another release essentially, 2 or 3 weeks after the release. So
yeah,
it's kind of like their artificial way of doing that, releasing more stuff. But it works. It seems to be working. And if they have that a nerf or whatever in another 3 or 4 weeks, then we're halfway to the next expansion, right? So
the cycle of Blizzard,
or
Hearthstone. There's always that cycle. I love it.
Yeah, totally. Anything else you guys want to say? Talk about Puzzle Lab? Anything might have missed here?
Something that I noticed today is it's actually not so great to for us to.
Whoops. Sorry, I just had the intro accidentally go off there.
A lot of people didn't watch because they didn't want to get spoiled.
Yeah.
So this is tricky with this type of content.
Yeah.
Obviously you want to stream it. Obviously you want to upload it on YouTube or whatever. But people don't want to get spoiled, right? Because it's something you really should solve yourself, or that's the whole fun. It's different than showing deck lists and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those instances where it's how do you put it? It's I feel like it's the business side of all of this stuff really messes up the whole fun gaming side of this. You know what I mean? It's like a race. Whether you're a website, a community website, or you're one of the influencers trying to tweet or stream, it's literally a race to figure out who can solve these things the quickest and then get them up there for everybody. So
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of our fault. I mean, it's the community's fault too, right? If everybody didn't want to see this information, then it wouldn't be such or the content makers wouldn't be such high demand to make them, right? So
right. Yeah.
I don't know. If there was an actual contest, it would have been cool to have a contest.
I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
For tournament, it is the Dr. Boom ones are super, super hard, right? Even for the best players.
Even for the smartest people. Yeah, exactly.
And imagine having a tournament or so where people are just, playing against each other or solving the same super difficult puzzle. That would be so entertaining to watch, because it's nobody else has seen the solution to the puzzle.
Yeah.
It's live. It would be so cool.
Yeah, I mean, you guys remember when I think it was Frodan, right, in Twitch. They had the dungeon run, right? They had the tournament in the end for $30,000 or something, some enormous amount of money.
Was it the Monster Hunt or the dungeon run?
I think it was the dungeon run. It was because you had to do it in all 9 classes, right? And I remember all these people practice for a week,
right? Because there was 2 phases to the competition.
Right, you had to qualify by doing all 9 in X number of, I forget what the parameters were, but then all those people qualified, and then they would have basically one chance to try to finish it. And if you got eliminated for whatever reason, you couldn't go on and do the rest of the classes. So I just remember, I think it was Toast or somebody, practiced all week, was crushing it during practice, and then he gets his real run, and then he loses after 1 or 2.
No!
I can't remember. Yeah,
oh, that's so bad.
It was oh my god, it was so brutal because he got just some crazy bad RNG thing. So,
the cool thing about the dungeon runs was that there's so much randomness that you can't solve the dungeon run.
Right.
And with the puzzles, if you would do it the same, it's super hard. If you are forced to do it yourself, but people would just cheat, right? Because everyone does the same puzzle, and as soon as someone solves it,
yeah,
it will be on the internet. But the dungeon ones, you couldn't like, you kind of had to learn like all the mechanics and how to build the decks and with different approaches.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, because you would get different bosses. Like there was there's a different boss combinations. Yeah, so the pretty huge difference. So you had to be able to solve all of them, or at least have some type of strategy against all of them. So that part it was pretty interesting. But you know, they could have done it. I think it's just a good idea to do an event like that every single one of these expansions. Just have a race, you know, like it's like a rat race basically. Just do a rat race for all these adventure mode things. Didn't have to be for $30,000, but it could be just whatever.
Or it could be.
Yeah, or it could be. Yeah, sure.
Oh, why not?
Yeah, why not, right?
Let's
up it 40.
It's up at 40. Okay.
Doesn't have to be 30K.
Crowdfund it. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, exactly. But okay. Well, anyways, Puzzle Lab, huge success. You know, I think keep doing those. Outside of Puzzle Labs, I mean, it's been pretty quiet week. I mean, obviously still stuff going on in the meta, which we can probably talk about now. I did obviously our little mini meta pulses. Actually, let's talk about the popularity and power rankings. Pretty different than last week, to be honest. Like the power rankings, popularity kind of similar. I mean, some shifts there, but for the most part, not too different. But yeah, power rankings, we got Warrior on top now, which is like from about 3 weeks ago, crazy different.
That surprises me. But
yeah, Odd Warriors just really, Odd Warriors doing pretty well right now. So this is the last 24 hours, by the way. Oh, that little arrow is like a little bit further out. But yeah, so this is like last 24 hours, or maybe like more like 32 hours. So yeah, we got Warrior on top, Druid second, Hunter third. Hunter was number 1 before. I think Druid might have been third and moved up. Rogue down just a tiny bit. Warlock keeps on sliding. Might have just come down just a tiny bit there. Shaman about the same. Mage about the same. Paladin down for sure. Paladin was like number 3 or something like before. I think last week, and then Priest staying at the bottom, but you know, moving up slowly in terms of the percent win rate. Any surprises here, guys? You're surprised by Warrior, right, Slysssa?
Yeah, mostly because it is a very slow game, especially if you get a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the ladder, maybe that's not always optimal, but I have seen a bit of it at watching some streamers at the top ranks, especially versus Malagos Druid and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I could see it.
Hero power. Hero power.
You can't do anything. Well, that's why Tyler runs as Alina, because he said you win versus the Warrior, which it's a hard win otherwise. So it kind of depends on what you're facing in the meta that day, where you are on the ladder, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Gaara, any surprises? Power rankings?
If Odd Warrior is like that good, then tomorrow I do top 10 legend easy clap. It's by far my best deck.
The games are so long though, man.
I've
played mostly that this week. And
I only play Baku Warrior.
Yeah, okay, so me and you are the same there. I mean, they're long, right? My games are so long when I play it. Against Druid, against... so it's another popular one that I've been playing against. Hunter, that's a weird matchup.
All I see these days, for me at least, all I've been seeing is odd rogue, another odd rogue, a hunter with death rattle, odd rogue, and it's just like constant.
Yeah,
that makes perfect sense. Then that means that all these anti-control decks are getting countered by all the aggro decks, and then Bakuwar is the best deck in the game, because Bakuwar is the best.
That's why. Yeah, that's exactly why. Like Hunter's making such a huge, just to zoom up the charts like in the last week or so. But yeah, the Warrior decks. I mean, we talked about last week, right? I mean, there's different versions too. There's some that have like a little bit more of the earlier minions, like the rush minions, and then there's the version that's just straight out control. Like literally, you're just building as much armor as you can, and then there's some that have like Elise in it too, some greedy ones that have like, I've even seen Elise even the last 48 hours.
I saw that today. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty good too. I played it a couple of times. But yeah, I mean, dude, with the odd rogue, I don't mind the odd rogue so much because it's like you know how to beat the odd rogue. You know, it's pretty clear how to beat it. If you don't get the cards, then you just lose, right? But you know how to beat it. The Death Rattle Hunter is a little trickier, man. The Death Rattle Hunter, I feel like sometimes just has explosive turns that you just have to risk sometimes, you know. But I don't know what do you guys think of that matchup? Gaara, you probably know since you played a lot of it.
Which one, Death Rattle?
Yeah, against Death Rattle Hunter, Baku Warrior against Death Rattle Hunter. Like,
I fatigued them now. I was super surprised that it works. I mean,
I used to lose doing that though. Like
the thing is, you have to fatigue them because Baku Warrior's win condition is fatigue.
Yeah, true.
Like out resource or fatigue, but you will not are not going to out resource Death Rattle Hunter. It comes down to how if they use both trackings, what they discard with the tracking, and how fast they get the Rexar. Like if they get Rexar on 6 and they don't discard crucial, because you have to fatigue them.
Yeah.
And Dr. Boom is such a strong DK that you can actually deal with threat still fatigue. Like it just gives you tools.
Yeah.
Like don't run out of resources. That's usually the problem with Baku Warrior before. You run out of removals and then they you could just keep playing minions from Rexar and you run out of removals. But through Dr. Boom you will get like cool mags that heal you, also remove stuff. So you also like you get taunts just so you get greedier with brawls and basically all the resources that you have till you can't fatigue them. It's super cool. But I think if they play correct, you should lose because you can really set up a board that Baku Warrior just can't kill, like with cubes and eggs. And a lot of people play the dragon Death Rattle minion now. It's also super annoying.
Which one? Because, 2/2, or you mean the mech one or the
mech
one? Okay, yeah.
Because it's not easy to deal 2 damage and proc it. It's much it's like what do you have if you think about it?
Spell damage, Earth Shock, baby.
Slam? Oh nope, that's Baku. Just kidding.
Exactly. That's true. Nope. Slysssa, have you ever played that, Matt? Or do you play Baku at all, or no? Or
I have not played it really. No. I don't have much experience with it.
It's brutal, man. I played a lot against the Hunter, and like you said, Gaara, like I was trying to, for a long time, I was just doing just trying to fatigue them out, and the games are literally like 25 minutes. Playing.
You have to fatigue them.
It's crazy long, and so I was like, oh my god, I've played like 2-3 hours now. I've played like 4 games. This is like.
I can see the deck a lot in tournaments, but on the ladder, it just seems like.
Yeah,
such a waste of time almost.
Well, it's waste when you lose. That's when it's like, oh my gosh, yeah. But
imagine doing an hour-long mirror match and then losing in the end. Oh,
it'd be a really cool analysis to compare Rexar against Dr. Boom, though, because that's what it ends up turning into, right? Like which resource ends up being, I think, the most efficient and consistent for you, and I think that's where Baku ends up losing if Rexar has enough attempts at it, because a minion against a control deck like Baku is always going to be useful no matter what it is. Like whatever minion he just built, he just throws it down, and then it's up to us as Baku Warrior to figure out an answer to it. And
I don't know the statistics on this, but it feels like Hunter Death Knight is producing a lot more rush minions these days.
Oh, is it?
That's what it feels like, but it could be. I'd like to see the statistics.
Yeah,
versus like last meta. I don't know if there's just more rush or what.
I have that query saved. I could probably run it real quick. And people always ask us that, and it's like it's not. It's generally speaking, it's always been pretty even. Yeah, but I can run it again and see just to check. But at least with our data. But yeah, I wish I got rush more, man. Like I feel like when I play, I end up. Not getting lifesteal and poisons and rush, so it's brutal.
There's just so many variables in the matchup. When I think about it, all these fatigue matchups where you can actually fatigue, like Rexar has obviously so much RNG which beast you get every single turn, but it's also a tempo loss. You can't empty your hand, and also Death Rattle Hunter has already so much value. Usually when you fatigue them, they have a full hand of value.
Yeah, that's true.
Keep pressing the button. But also Dr. Boom, which hero power you get in which situation is so important. Like sometimes you need a specific hero power to clear the board, or like a specific mag, which gives you a lot of value. But also like Ungoro pack is super important. you can get really good cards from Ungoro pack from Elise. You can get like meteors and whatnot, which is super useful, but you can also get completely useless cards. So there's a lot of variables. You have to play out the games.
Yeah.
It's like you can't really say, okay, this guy is gonna win or you're gonna win.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, I think that there are misses with the hero power with Boom. Like the Whirlwind one, even to some degree the 3 damage one can be a miss too.
But the Whirlwind one can actually be the best one if you get it the turn you play Boom and you can't press the button. Then it's actually the best one because everyone.
Okay.
No,
yeah,
but that's also like
Sure.
indirect RNG. So if you get the worst one and the first one where you can't use hero power, it's the best one because every hero power afterwards is going to be good.
Well, okay, true.
You know what I mean?
But what I mean is like, if you're going to be pushing the hero power 15 times, which basically happens in this matchup, probably 6 of them are not going to be great for you. 5 or 6 of them probably won't be matching up perfect for you, and then the hunter just gets at least enough tempo to wear you down. So it's. I think that's where it ends up going, but it happens so often right now. Like I wonder what the matchup frequency is on that matchup right now. Just warrior versus hunter. I feel like it's a lot right now, and it's super long. It takes a long time.
Another thing.
Go ahead.
Another thing which I really want to like point out is I feel like Rexa has the highest skill cap. From what I've seen is people really build bad beasts or they don't know what beasts to go for.
What's a common mistake you think?
Like I see like a lot of streamers and I'm like I would have not went for this beast maybe because I played more hunter or whatever. But Rexa, when you look also at HS3play.net, like Rexa has a very low win rate whenever it's played, always like 40% or so as a card. But in a lot of matchups, it's like the best card you can have. And I think just because people don't know how pick right beasts, I think people go too greedy or go for the wrong status effects. Another thing is, okay, as an example, because you said I should bring up, it's like stealth. I see that the top players like Muzzy and whatnot, they always look for the stealth minions to set up like cube combos for it, like very early already, even though if it's like happening in 4 or 5 turns later. But I don't know, people just go for very greedy minions, like very expensive ones that cost like 9 mana or whatever. You never get them out or they will not do anything. Like they don't go for cheaper beasts, so you can play multiple cards and squeeze out hero power, play like 2 beasts in it. It's complicated because there's so many different beasts and so many different beast combinations. But I think in general, people just go for the wrong beast, especially the first pick. People go, I think, too high in mana or like very weird beast.
You definitely have to think ahead of what you want to do. Like, for example, I remember this one game I was playing against a priest, and I got I ended up building 3 different minions with lifesteal that I could play within 10 mana right after they Alexed, and got myself all the way back to full health. But I was like planning way ahead.
Right.
You have to do that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And yeah, I know what you mean. I think there is a nuance to this, like picking, and people probably haven't been talking about it enough in terms of how deciding games potentially, right? But to the point of the stats with Rexxar, I think that's influenced too by the fact that Rexxar generally doesn't do well against aggro decks either. So when it's played, probably losing to those decks, right? So it's a card that's generally not going to have a high percentage against like half of the decks like that. So I think it might be skewed a little bit because of that fact. But I do think
it might be actually one of the better cards of Hunter against aggro.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think everything that has Rexxar in it generally hasn't done that great. I mean, Spell Hunter, right, is good, but the other ones.
It's nice versus Paladin. It's great versus Paladin.
Yeah. I don't think that it's so bad versus aggro. And usually you set up a clear for Rexa, and then Rexa brings you back in the game because Rexa gives you also 5 armor, and then you go for like defensive minions and heal minions and whatnot. I don't think the Rexa is that bad versus aggro, but the overall win rate of Rexa is too bad. Like, because Rexa against slower decks is insane win rate, right? So it should be above 50% for sure.
Yeah.
Or like
sure.
around 50%, but it is really low. It's like 40%. That's like it's like a card that is, I don't know, a regular 9-drop that is played from hand. I don't know if it's like from Big Druid. comparable. Like if you play like a Sleepy Dragon from hand or so, should have like a really bad win rate. I don't have it on top of my head, but it's comparable to that. Playing like a super slow minion from hand that does nothing. Rek'Sai is much better.
What range are you looking at, man? Deck win rate I see is like high, dude. Like
from Rek'Sai?
Yeah. Well, let me show you.
Played win rate from Rek'Sai is usually really, really low.
Oh, played win rate? Oh, okay. Played win rate is played win rate is different though. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, deck win rate, of course not. That says like. But played win rate whenever I look at Rek'Sai. Whenever I see people.
Okay. Oh, I wish I could blow this up. It's not that bad though.
But it's like Slysssa said. Like I see some, like I even watched like Akawanda recently, and he played against Evenlock, and he had like 10 turns to pick beasts, and he barely squeezed out the win after like 12 turns of Rek'Sai. But there were like so many different decisions you could have made overall for building beasts, and it was like some weird combination of like stealth minions and lifesteal and then fatigue, like really, really weird, and it really shows experience that you could have easily messed up some of the beasts.
Yeah,
like literally 12 beasts in a row that you create. This is something for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of these days, maybe Bainey or somebody will do an article on that, because that's a pretty fascinating article. It'll take a lot of obviously analysis to come up with, just a general pattern as to like people picking the right kind of beast or having success with trying to figure out correlations there.
Actually,
go ahead.
The way how it was like, I think 1 or 2 expansions ago, I actually looked up at there's some good guides on competitive Hearthstone subreddit, and there was like a guide about Rek'Sai priority picks, and I read, this was like 4 pages long. I actually read that to learn, and I became so much better with Rek'Sai afterwards. That's like really like a tier list of beasts as the first pick or second pick, and I really learned a lot from that just because I never thought.
Who wrote it?
I don't remember, but it's stuff like Mukla being one of the absolute best you can pick as the first pick, and you oftentimes think like, well, yeah, giving your opponent bananas is pretty bad, but you can do so many powerful minions just from the stats. Like all your rush minions are super cheap and efficient just mana cost wise, because you pay 2 mana and you get the tempo loss, but you get all the stats back from Mukla. But you don't think about that, like how good it actually is, right? If you compare to every other beast you can get, and having like a tier list of all the beasts is very helpful. This is one of the things.
Where is the tier list of the beast? Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Like having an active tier list of the beasts. Man,
there is.
Yeah, there is one. So clearly there is one. It'd be cool.
I've seen some people lose tempo by playing it on turn 6. Like they could have won by turn 8 if they just kept their hero power, because spending 2 mana to build a beast really diminishes your tempo. It's good against control, but that's something else I've seen that they're playing the Rek'Sai wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah. So this looks like the Crucifer's asking where that article is. Gar, you're gonna have to find that article, man, and link it to everybody.
It's pretty old.
It's pretty old. Okay. It sounds like it was in one of the subreddits, maybe competitive subreddit or competitive Hearthstone subreddit. Yeah. Probably most likely there. That's where you're usually gonna find.
But yeah, the tier list has changes every time an expansion comes out. It's same for taunt probabilities. Like I get a little bit lazy, but like when I was super competitive, I always like look. For example, it's very important for me to know what is the exact percentage of getting which taunt minion as from Stonehill Defender, for example. And with the last expansion, it was exactly 5%. So you know, okay, I have a 5% chance to get Lich King from Stonehill Defender as an example. It's good to know the percentage.
Yeah.
But it changes every rotation and every expansion, and you basically have to do everything again from scratch. You know what I mean? So it's pretty annoying. So I'm basically waiting for people to make these.
they just added.
You're waiting for the answers, just like Puzzle Labs, right? Yeah. Was that Slysssa?
They just added a new beast this expansion to the Rek'Sai, because before it didn't have all the new beasts.
They left it off for a little bit, and I think they added it, right? Like
they just added them in.
Oh, they just added? I thought they added in Witchwood.
Maybe it was Witchwood.
Yeah, it was like during some point in Witchwood. Yeah, it's all blended in together. Exactly. Witchwood and Boomsday, man, they can kind of run together. But let's talk about class popularity here. So, Warlock just keeps coming down. At one point, I think like 2 weeks ago, Warlock was at 30%. So, you know, 2 weeks later, we're actually down to 20%, and I think that has a lot to do with the win rate. The win rates just have dropped, you know, for Zulok and Control Lock was trying to make a push there for a little bit, and I think that's pretty much died down at this point.
I'm back on the cube block.
Are you? Oh, cube block, yeah. Cube block seems to be getting a little momentum.
Anything with a cube in it is good right now.
That's a good rule of thumb right now.
It's my theory. Anything with a cube or giggling inventors is a good jack.
Yeah, that's generally true right now. That's
and I put the giggling in my cube and it works.
So is it just like standard cube, or is there any like, is it basically cube with giggling, or is there any
cube with giggling? So one less faceless. Lissa was running had a demonic plague in it, which is nice for certain situations and funny for stream.
Right. So entertainment value, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, because you could, especially versus like Malagos or something, where you know that's what's in their hand.
Yeah.
So
hey, wait. So you got to Legend like in the first. Is it the first day of the expansion this year or this season? Or
I got to Legend before the expansion. The second day of the month.
That's right. Yeah. That's quick.
And then I got Legend on my second account a few days later.
Nice. Yeah.
So in the first week,
up to Gaara, man. Gaara, you got to get 3 though. If you get 3,
3 the first week is my goal.
Gaara, I don't think you get 3 in a week, right? It takes you maybe.
Yeah, but Slysssa was like better than most pros this month.
Yeah, exactly. That's what was like crazy. Yeah, that was impressive, man. Super impressive.
Grinding.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a really easy win rate. I don't know what happened. I just
just playing better. That's I mean, it goes a long ways when you play.
Yeah. Well, I think what happened too was last month I really focused on 2 decks, mostly because I didn't have golden heroes for them.
That's good reason. Good reason.
So focusing on 2 decks for one whole month really helps me. And so then when the new month came, I just kept playing those 2 decks, and it was bam. Oh, I'm here.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it just shows you that like I think there's a lot of nuances to the decks, you know, and for the most part, people don't play decks long enough.
Right, you just keep switching when you get irritated or salty. So just sticking to 2, you learn those like little techniques to maybe a slight mulligan difference versus different decks, and when do you go wide, when do you go tall, like just the tiniest things. And since the meta is so diverse right now, there's so many different decks you can play against. So the more you play one deck, the more you'll see how to win each matchup.
Yeah,
which is the hardest part, especially if you're like in a 40-60 disadvantage. You have to know how to beat that percentage.
This whole concept of like performance, you know, like rank, or I like to call it a report card in terms of just like piloting and performance. That's going to be coming soon, guys. So we're going to have that, you know, we're going to have that feature available, I think, in the coming months for people to finally be able to differentiate, you know, themselves. Not just purely, well, I mean, it's going to be based obviously heavily on win rate, you know, how you compare to like the average model. But you know, you'll be able to say like, hey, I'm like a, you know, master level, you know, odd rogue player, you know, versus like somebody that's like, you know, a gold level. You know, we'll have that kind of thing like pretty soon, so it should be fun. But anyways, I just brought up the top 5 decks here for just from HS Replay last 32 hours or so, and ranks 4 to Legend. So we do this every week. Today we just talked about, you know, obviously Baku Warrior, so that's up there. Token Druid, Odd Rogue, Tempo Mage, Taunt Druid. Again, like this isn't like reflective of necessarily what's on the meta tier list. This is just like what are the hottest decks right now that have like, you know, 400 games underneath them.
I'm surprised to see Taunt Druid, but again, anything with a cube is good, so I don't disagree with it.
Yeah, right. Like
cubes are just good cards.
Well, I mean, if aggro is, you know, super popular, I mean, Taunt Druid's going to be decent, right? So yeah, if you can get some value out of cube and insane value out of cube, you're in good shape, definitely. But Tempo Mage is up here. You know, I think it took, I mean, it was probably really close or on this list last week. I can't remember if it was on the list.
I mentioned it last week.
Because
it was not on the list. I was like,
it was close. It was. I remember it being close, but it just wasn't. So it's finally made its mark.
I like it.
Which one? The tempo?
Tempo Mage. Yeah. So yesterday it made me slightly salty. I had some fun with it. I got 12 wins with the Brawl using the Tempo Mage.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I remember trying Tempo Mage in the first week, and it was just crushing. Like, I mean, not crushing, meaning it was doing terrible, and it was just like soul crushing doing it. So I just had to stop. I might have to go revisit it now. Now it seems to be a better place.
I had an 85% win rate the first day with it, mostly because everyone was being super greedy on the ladder, trying some like really creative stuff, which is great, but a Tempo Mage will beat that.
See, that's what my hypothesis was too. But then when I played it, all these people would be playing heal class, just decks, and I just couldn't ever produce enough damage. So I mean, I didn't have some of these nuances like Anomaly and stuff like that. But
that's what it is. It's that spell damage card is so good, so nice. Especially with what's the 1 mana card that shoots out the missiles wide?
Shooting Star.
The star
Shooting
one,
Star?
yeah.
Oh, Shooting Star, yeah.
It's such a great combo to clear, especially versus the Paladin, which can be a hard matchup before.
Yep, that's true. No, Paladin's definitely taking a hit. I think Odd Paladin's coming down a bit just because I feel like all of these decks have an element to play decently against it. Token's probably the same as it always was, but these others do pretty decent. Odd Warrior does extremely. I mean, it has like double MC Tech in it. I mean, it's very, very prepared to deal with like the wide boards. So yeah, anything else surprising here? Token Druid, like we don't really talk about Token Druid that much, but it's always just there. It doesn't seem to go anywhere for the most part. It's the same thing, but just with giggling. Like the old one with just giggling. So
whenever I see it in tournaments, it seems super strong. I just never see it on the ladder. I barely see it on the ladder.
Yeah, it's if I watch like, I don't know, if I watch like a pro or whatever streaming and they're trying to get to a certain certain rank, I always feel like they fall back. There's always a Token Druid in their list of decks that they just kind of fall back on. Exactly, and then I think Token Druid is one of those decks too that has a high variance in skill. So I think the pro players are just way better than your average legend player. So
I feel like also like the previous Token Druid just needed one more thing, and the Giggling Inventor is exactly what it needed. It needed this one more refill,
right?
And like by the end of the previous expansion, people played Scenarios, which was already really good, but this was like way at the end. It was kind of like the last week of the last expansion. People included that. It's just like when you play against it, you knew all you have to do is clear the 2 boards, from the Sword of the Forest and Whispering Woods.
Whispering
and
Woods.
Now with the Violet Teachers, which was already difficult because the deck draws so much faster than other classes, but now with the Giggling Inventors, you can do different board fills, like with Giggling Inventor, Sword of the Forest combos, and with you can waste your Violet Teachers and use spells on that. It's much harder to kill or clear all the boards. It's definitely like a complete deck, it feels like, and it's much stronger versus anti-aggro decks, probably even stronger against Evenlock as well.
It's really hard to clear. I mean, it takes 5 hits to clear the thing. That's why people were running Blood Knight, just to even help with clearing that. So I think
Mossy Horrors.
Mossy Horrors too. Yeah, that's
I'll take 2 in my deck. Rogue can make a bunch in their decks if they wanted to.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think Token Druids, it's one of those, big swing, or not swing, but you kind of have to risk things, when you're playing that against some of the decks right now, because a lot of the decks do have the ability to clear it, whether it's like Pyros or it's like Primordial Drakes, and there's almost every single clear is really, really good for token boards. It's Token Druid boards. So it's interesting how it does well, but I believe just by watching so much of it, that has a lot to do with just people just know how to play it way better than your average person. So that's why they do so well with it. Okay, well, anyways, that's just kind of a look, guys. You guys can take a look at these decks. Of course, you can find these decks at hsreplay.net. I don't have the codes, obviously, here for you to copy easily, unfortunately. But
back in my day, we didn't have a code.
Exactly, right. But you can find these on the meta tab, and I mean, taking a look at that real quick. I mean, what do we got here? Just to look very, very briefly here. Last day we've got Token Druid on top. Speaking of which, we're talking about rank 5 the legend, and then all the hunters. Yeah, the hunters are just on fire. Look how many tier 1 lists there are right now. It's crazy. It's like 5 of them. And then of course the massive sea of tier 2.
Oh man.
Yeah, Odd Rogue's taking a little bit of a hit.
But that's the nice thing about this meta that we've had the last couple of metas is there's so many lists compared to like back in the Jade Druid days when there was Jade Druid and Aggro Druid, and that was it. Now there's just so many lists, which is great for the game.
I mean, Odd Rogue was like a permanent fixture in tier 1 for the first 3 weeks of this expansion. Now it's finally dropped into tier 2, mostly because there's just, I mean, it's not like.
Oh, can you scroll down? Is that Spiteful Druid I see?
Yeah, Spiteful Druid.
Oh, making a comeback.
Yeah, Spiteful Druid was on the rise even last week when we were talking, right, Gaara?
I'm pretty sure it does good against recruits, right?
Does it? I haven't actually played it. Let me see. Let me just see what's in. I haven't played it that much, to be honest. Let's see what's in it. That's really good. I mean, I know we were talking about last week, and it's been a little underrated. I don't think RDE thought it was that great though, but I know a lot of people have been talking about Spiteful Druid the last week or so.
These changes usually have something to do with a dominant deck leaving the meta.
Right.
Like with Tempo Mage, as soon as Tempo Mage appears as a strong deck, it usually tells me people play less Druid or people play less Malygos Druid, because Tempo Mage loses to Barco Warrior and Malygos Druid horribly, but it can beat pretty much everything else. Like destroy decks like Evenlock, Q-Block, rogues, like all sorts of rogues. And what do we have here? Like,
oh my god,
yeah, Spiteful Druid. Spiteful Druid is also a deck that is good versus. It's very bad versus Odd Paladin, I might say, just faster decks. But we don't have like super fast decks. Like it plays double MC tag, so it's good versus Zoo if they have like somewhat of a slow opener. But it should be super bad versus Odd Paladin. But there's no Odd Paladin in the meta.
Not really.
Yeah,
no.
It's kind of phasing out right now. So
and then you can play like this 1 tier slower aggressive deck, which is much better versus slower decks, just because
So the play is like floop into another summoner, right? Like you're just getting 3 summoners basically, right? Like I'm assuming. Like, I haven't played this deck.
Easy club.
Or triple giggling.
Triple giggling.
Let's go.
That seems wasteful to me, but you might need it. Yeah.
No,
against aggro.
Versus aggro.
Yeah, against aggro, I guess you need it. Yeah.
Your Blood Knight versus the giggling, then they're like, haha, I have another giggling, and then you play floop and you have another Blood Knight. Haha.
I mean, I've been going giggle crazy with Quest Rogue recently.
Oh yeah.
Quest Rogue giggling is pretty good.
Quest Rogue. Yeah, Quest Rogue's been on our list of top 5. Like last week, I think it was even there. So,
Blood Knight is a very strong card in the meta right now because so many people play giggling, but I think it only makes sense in aggressive decks. Like playing Blood Knight in a control deck just doesn't do enough.
Yeah, because you're not meant to take. You're not trying to take board. You know, you're just trying to clear board constantly. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does seem like a weird way to do it. Or Mossy would be better, just literally clearing the entire thing. Yeah. So, anyways, this is the Spiteful deck. It's performing well. I mean, give it a try. I mean, it's not that much different than the old one, of course. I mean, you can't really do that much with Spiteful Druid.
Well, yeah, Spitefuls are pretty hard. You're pretty easy to navigate as decks, especially for people who aren't as comfortable with Hearthstone.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very curve-oriented deck, so you just get curve-stone-ish. Anything else in here that's kind of surprising? There's another Spell Hunter. What the heck? I thought that we... Oh, no, that's Spell Hunter.
No, Malygos Druid being so low.
Oh, Spell Hunter's way lower. Okay.
Malygos Druid, most pros say, I agree, it's the best deck in the game right now. By far the best deck, and it's like 50% win rate deck. Just because, again, it has super high
skill cap. Yeah,
we can look in...
A lot of these decks have actually a skill cap.
Yeah, it's a little bit higher. It's in Legends, 51.2, so...
Yeah, but it being the best deck in the game, it's a pretty damn low win rate. Yeah,
I mean, again, I think it has to do with like the pros are obviously the top of the the heap, right? So the popularity might not just match to that. There might be a lot of people that just aren't that great at that deck. Because you can't play this deck bad. You can. There's a lot of misplays in Malaga Stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like surprising, like how low the win rate is, considering how good this deck is.
That's what I mean. That's why you need performance ratings, dude. It's gonna be good. So secret. Remember we talked about the secret hunter last week with the
and I got bashed by you and not you. Oh my god, this deck is not good.
I didn't say anything, dude. I didn't. It was already you. It was already you that said it. I didn't say anything about it because I didn't know enough.
This deck is a week old. It must be bad. Gaara's playing WoW for 2 days, so this deck is outdated.
I didn't say that was already you, man. That's all already
you. Good.
Yeah, it's clearly. It's definitely still good. I've heard people tweet about this, like just to just replay. So
I'm not as good anymore as building a deck, but I'm very, very good at seeing if a deck is good. Like I saw this deck one time, like Borg Control was playing it, and it was like
I mean, he came up with it, right?
2 days after the expansion came out, and I knew it's one of the best decks in the game just by seeing the deck list. It is.
Have you played it, Slysssa, at all?
I've played it slightly. I've played against it, and I've watched Boar play it, so I'm familiar with it. I don't know, like. There's also a skill cap to beating hunters. Some people just like run their minions into the secrets and you're just like, why aren't you playing around them? Like you don't have to go face this turn. You can wait and then like deal with all the secrets at once, or I don't know. So there was like a game I was playing even lock and I literally didn't attack face once. And won because he just knew the secrets would win his game and I just never attacked his face.
Right. Right. No, that is the way to beat them, right? Is to have them be stuck with the same secrets in their hands too.
Yeah, like just don't stoop to their level. But no, I've watched. Yeah, I mean, I see the value in it, but if you can play around the secrets, then there's also that value.
I think this is great. This is how Hearthstone should be. That misplay should matter, and someone playing good should matter.
Yeah.
So like both players being able to do something with their skill is good that it matters. Again, it didn't matter for quite a long time, I feel like.
If you're playing an aggro deck, though, you have no choice. Like you have to.
Right, yeah. Right? No, you have to. Yeah. But and then there's situations that you can wait. Like if you have a mana worm on board, you maybe don't want to attack with it. Maybe wait till your 2/3's on board.
Yeah, true.
You know?
No, those are the little decisions. Yeah, exactly. That can make a huge difference here. But still funny that this deck was created in the first days of the expansion, and it's still good right now. So it's really cool to see that.
Because the card is good. It's like Dr. 5.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's 5
if you can put this card, if you can put this card in a good deck, then it's so sick. Like 5 mana, draw 5 cards. Doesn't matter what you draw. It's so good value. It's insane.
Yeah,
and you can actually.
I heard a really interesting debate about that card between Zalay and Boar because Boar wanted to play it for tempo, but Zalay was convinced they were now in a fatigue matchup, and he didn't want to filter the deck out. So I thought that it was actually a very interesting play.
Oh, that's true. I mean, I guess you could be in that kind of position, right, where you're.
Yeah, because if you're going into Deathstalk or Rexar, then you're going more into control sometimes. So.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting situations.
Yeah. Zalay seems to always be in those situations where things might go into fatigue in a very like first time situation, right? He and Amnesiac had that bad
Oh my gosh. I was sitting there.
Yeah.
I was there.
You were? Oh, nice.
I went to the bathroom.
That was crazy.
Times.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, I'll probably be done in 10 minutes. I come back. It's an hour later. Still going.
And pass, drop card. Waste a card, like kill nothing. and then exactly.
Broke the do nothing turn, okay?
right, exactly.
Speaking of fatigue, the Buenos Aires tournament.
Yes. Yep.
Like I remember I finished my stream. I was making food. I was eating food. I was watching PNC versus Race. Go to the gym, being on the treadmill for like 1.5 hours. They're still playing. I come back from the gym. They're still playing. I'm pretty sure the series lasted like 5 hours. It was ridiculous. It was like the longest series.
It was super long.
It was the same exact series for the entire evening.
Yeah, that was a pretty brutal one too. Yeah, so Buenos Aires was this past weekend. If you guys didn't see it, it was kind of weird because I don't know, like the production was they had Lorinda and was it Derek like talking over, basically the broadcast for the Spanish, or I think it's Spanish, not Portuguese, right? Like the Spanish broadcast. So it was just kind of like, yeah, it was kind of like an extra. I felt like it was almost like a side stream, kind of feeling to it, which is a little bit strange. But yeah, I mean, definitely, I saw the end of it. So I saw Monsanto and well, I saw Muzzy, Monsanto. It was Lee and God, who was the last one? I forget who the last person was in the bracket. Let me see. Oh, actually, they don't show it here. Great. Thanks, Blizzard. But definitely some great matches there. If you guys want to check it out, I think if you want to see some different decks, because Muzzy brought up like 4 different decks that we talked about last week, and kind of seeing how they perform, because they did perform well, and he actually ended up losing in the semis when he was favored, which was kind of a bummer for him in terms of just his draws and whatnot. But overall, I think it was a pretty good event too, and like there's only a few more events left, I think, in the year, right? We got Germany, we've got one this week, which is, I think it's in Asia, right? Like, I forget which one is it? I was just looking at the schedule earlier. They had it having a.
Why do you think?
I thought there was like another. Is it no? Bangkok already happened, right? So.
Why do you think there's only a few events left? Like, this is literally the first month of the.
Well, season. I meant. Okay, not few events. I guess I was just kind of meaning like at least
there will be a lot of events.
Yeah, I guess there's still going to be a lot of events. I was thinking just more in this kind of August, September area, but I guess we still have like October. I thought it ends in October. No, like
it just started. I mean, yeah, we have like August, September, October, and November. Like it's again a
4 months.
Yeah, it's 4 months again.
Oh, that's right. I keep thinking it's like BlizzCon. Like again, it's not. Okay, so we still have like an entire.
It's in January the finals.
Yeah. We got an entire season's worth. Yeah, so Taichung is this week right now. Or no, not Taichung. Is this right?
I think this happened as well.
Yeah, Taichung already happened, right? So yeah, we have Buenos Aires. So we got oh no, so there's nothing this week actually. Sorry, I'm like looking at the schedule. So yeah, there's nothing this week. It's just global games this week, and then
DreamHack.
I mean, Gamescom is next week.
Yeah, Gamescom. Is there an announcement for Hearthstone and Gamescom?
Isn't Tice doing something there right now?
Is he? I can't. Maybe he is.
Gamescom, they haven't done any like announcements for Hearthstone in a long time.
Okay.
There used to be like global finals, but this is now at BlizzCon. And there used to be WCE finals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which also doesn't
exist anymore.
Yeah. So Gamescom, I don't think.
Okay, so like it looks like the next event might be Montreal, right? Like you were saying, DreamHack Montreal.
Yeah, the playoffs. I mean,
and then the
one
playoffs,
of the biggest.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
The next week.
Yeah, this the following week. Yeah, and then no, actually, Oslo is the 29th through August 1st. And that's season through. That's a tour stop. Is that? I don't know. I would think the playoffs would be in their schedule here, but I don't know. I'm looking at their schedule here. I'm just gonna link it in the chat, and yeah. So take it for what's on there. It looks like Oslo is 29th to the August 1st, and there's nothing in between that, which kind of surprises me. You'd think there would be more in September. But anyways, lots of still lots more of HCT happening, and Slysssa, are you gonna play HCT some more, or I mean, you went to DreamHack, right, Austin, right? Are you gonna?
She's like, you what, mate?
Yeah, I went to DreamHack Austin for fun.
Yeah.
But it really encouraged me to start trying harder, and that's what basically led me to this like early legend and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you'll see me in a tournament.
Yeah, cool.
As of now, no.
Okay. I mean, I feel like FTK probably has room for another team if they wanted. Like,
right? Yeah,
so
because we only have an A team. We don't have a B team, even though we have plenty of people to fill it up.
I feel like that. Yeah, exactly. But okay, well, why don't we take some questions, guys? We don't have any Q&A from emails today, so if you guys in the chat have any questions, we will take some and be happy to answer anything you guys might be wondering about anything related to Hearthstone or whatever. Let me actually double check the email, make sure that like our friend, our regular Ahmed N has a question, but it doesn't look like it. Oh, it looks like we do have a question from Richard M. It says, have any higher ranked players explored Treachery, Control, Warlock? And he says, in context, in your last podcast, you mentioned how hard it is to counter various builds, short of using Demonic Project. I find that Control Warlock with Treachery and Halfine has a lot going for it. You've got the Demonic Project to ruin like Mechathuns or anything like that, and you can beat many control combo decks by discarding their combos, and Control Lock is a good base. It's essentially tech against combos in the hand. Yeah, so Treachery, Control Lock, it like had a little moment there, like in Kobolds maybe? Was it? I can't remember actually when it was. But there was some interesting moments. I know people like Savis have played on stream and things like that, but I don't know. Anything to that, guys? Like, you guys have any experience with it?
Yes. So first of all, Dog played it from the
did he?
players.
Did he play it like in a competitive event?
Not in a competitive event, but on High Legend. All his meme decks are usually on High Legend.
Okay, right. Just making sure it's a meme deck, like when that in context there.
The problem with the deck is the two strongest cards you still have are like Lecky and Skull of the Manari, and you can't play the what is the minion called? The 3/6.
The Ghoul.
The Ghoul. You can't play the Ghoul because it's a demon with Skull, and that's your best card. So that is bad. So it seems like a worse version of the best Warlock decks. It's too slow. It requires too many cards as a setup. It also doesn't just require you to draw the cards, but to also have the mana. And I think people are underestimating how fast, let's say, Togwaggle Druid is. It's super fast. Oftentimes, they have the full combo with the reduced Togwaggle plus Azalina before you even draw one project as a control warlock. It's as a regular control warlock. It's insane. Before you draw one project, they already drew the entire deck. It's just super fast. I feel like it's just too slow. I think normal Togwaggle Warlock is even better. The one that plays Hammett, that just kills your deck. I think it's faster. That would also counter these control decks. I think that's not too bad. Maybe I will play that more again, now that I mentioned it myself.
Yeah.
But I think the other one is just too slow, and again, you don't play Skull. It's your best card.
All right, GJC has a question here. I'll just throw this to you, Slysssa. Which deck in this meta has you tilted the most? What broken deck is frustrating to play against?
Oh man, the most frustrating to play against. I mean, that question's always like, to me, it's like whatever you like the most. It's whatever counters that deck, right?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So what's the most frustrating to play against? Like as of now, anything with Death Rattle, Death Rattle Rogue, Death Rattle Hunter, I think are both really strong. I don't know if it comes frustrating. I think Quest Rogue's always frustrating.
That's fine.
Get their quest off.
Yeah, I Quest Rogue is definitely frustrating. I don't play against a lot, surprisingly. I think playing against the Azalina King Togwaggle decks are frustrating to play against. I think those are like decided.
I call that do nothing druid. They literally do nothing forever. They just, oh, I'm gonna armor, oh, I'm gonna draw, oh, I'm gonna, and then they just switch them, and you're just like, okay. Like,
I think the worst experience is when you get your hopes up because you might have a chance against Malygos Druid, and then it's Togwaggle, and then it's complete opposite.
Yep. I mean, now that you said that, who was it that's playing Azalina, right? Like
Tyler,
yeah, Tyler's playing
Malygos Azalina.
That's brutal. Yeah. So you're happy that you play Azalina. It's like, wait, he would not have done that first, right? There's no way he would have done that first. No, so it makes me question whether Mill is, like, it's good for the game if Mill is actually a high tier deck, because
No, it's not good for the game.
I mean, it's like it's an entertaining type of way to play like Hearthstone. I just don't think it's a very healthy competitive way to play Hearthstone.
It's the same with Questroke. Questroke should never be a tier 1 deck. It's so bad for the game. Like, it should be a niche counter deck, but it should never be a tier. It's the same with J-Druid. J-Druid should never be like the best deck in the game, which is completely logical because...
I mean, I think there's scenarios where it's okay for, not J-Druid, but like Quest Rogue, but it has to be so hard to pilot, like crazy hard, kind of like APM Priest right now.
I can see that. Yeah.
If it's that hard to pilot, then I'm okay with this type of single player type of game. You know what I mean? But it has to be super hard, so that not very many people can do it.
That's the biggest issue I have with Druids. Most tier 1 Druid decks used to be quite easy to play, or like to play to a level that you get a high win rate. Most of the time, just keeping Wild Growth, playing Wild Growth, and then play a very powerful 4-mana card into Nourish, into Ultimate Infestation is a very powerful line to win the game. And almost everyone knows how to do that. Yeah. But if it's very difficult to win, then the deck can be... Like, I was fine with Razakus Priest, even though so many people hated it.
Yeah, it was actually just fine. Yeah.
Very few people played it on High Legend. Very few. Only who played it perfect. Because you could counter it and you had to play it perfect. Like, to get to High Legend, because there was so much skill.
Yeah, it wasn't that strong at lower ranks, right? It just wasn't that strong because of the same reason. Yeah, Somebody's saying APM. Yeah, APM is bad. Exactly right. I mean, if it was actually super good for certain people who understood it like backwards and forward, then I would be okay with that Priest still making it in there. At the event level, but because it's not that good. It's kind of where it should be. Like, the decks that are, I think, more meme-ish or have that type of feel to it, I think belong in that entertainment bucket, more so than it does competitive.
I've lost to Do Nothing Priest a couple times, aka the Mechathune Priest.
Oh yeah.
And so I tried to pilot it myself off stream maybe 2 nights ago, and I lost every game. So then I decided I wasn't as mad anymore about it. Yeah. But when you lose to it, you're just like, they just drew their hands and then they did nothing. They literally did nothing.
Right.
But I did learn it was a little bit not a great deck.
They
really
remove stuff. I mean, I think it's unfair to say they do nothing. They actually
do nothing.
They almost do nothing. All right. But
they do nothing, and I do paper hands on curve. That's how I like to call it. I play Barkover and I do paper hands turn 10.
So I know what they should do. They should add a 5th wing to Puzzle Lab that's do nothing. Like you say, they should call it do nothing, and it's basically a bunch of good like Mechathune type of puzzles and whatever King Taiwan. Yeah, exactly, right.
Draw your deck. That's like all they do is they just draw.
Draw. How do you draw all your cards and then kill your opponent in one turn? Yeah, like that sort of thing. That'd be funny. Okay, see, we got another question here. Do you really think they will nerf Quest Rogue a 3rd time? I don't know if they should or shouldn't, but I don't think they will because it's not out of control yet. Like, I think they need to, if the stats show that it's like being played, at a not a crazy high play rate, and the win rate isn't like ridiculously high, then I think they'll probably do nothing.
What I find interesting about that right now, even though Questroke might be stronger than ever before, just in raw power level, we have too many options. We never had so many decks you can theoretically play that are good, and this is why so few people play Questroke. Like, we had metas where you have only like literally 3 decks to play that are good.
It's kind of popular, to be honest. It's like 2.9%, which is actually pretty high.
I started playing it for the first time, and I'd never played Quest Rogue before. This is my first time.
Yeah,
right. After so many metas, so I'm not good at
Legend. Look at this. Legend's 4.31%. I mean, it's because of Legend players why it's being played. Look at this, man. I mean, this is obviously a lot higher, but this is pretty high. Like, this is.
Wait, what's the odd rogue? That's all I see.
Yeah, Odd Rogue
Makes
is
sense.
yeah, right there. That's what you're seeing.
I was
Most
saying Odd
popular
Rogue
deck.
Death Rattle Hunter. It's just like crazy amounts.
This just tells you you're supposed to, if you want to get past the Gatekeeper, you just play Death Rattle Hunter. that's what people are doing clearly. But yeah. So anyways, like Quest Rogue right now. That's the 7th most popular deck in Legend. So that's probably why. I don't know. Maybe
it went also a bit higher because of the Baku Warriors. If Baku Warriors now like the strongest deck, you destroy it with Quest Rogue. I mean, 4% is still not like that problematic.
Yeah, it's way down.
Kind of high,
It
but
is high.
I'm happy.
Should
Like
I miss it?
I feel like Shadowwalk Shaman
Oh, there it
in the
is.
previous meta,
Yeah.
I faced like every other game. Like it felt like 50% of the games.
Oh, I haven't seen Shadowwalk in a long time.
Oh, thank God.
Unless it's tempo, but
No, this is the one that's actually grumble and stuff. Okay.
That was frustrating to face Shadowwalk Shamans. You never enjoy playing against it.
I know what I'm gonna play tomorrow.
Shadowwalk? Yes, do it. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Only to annoy someone.
Oh no, I'm gonna get sniped.
Okay. Any last questions? We'll take one more and then we'll probably call it. Did I miss one up here? I think so. Well, actually, in the meantime, while we're waiting for a question, I do want to give a shout out to our patrons. I've been supporting the show for a long time. So if you're interested in supporting Valuetown, go to patreon.com/Valuetown and throw a pledge our way. Really, really appreciate it. But want to give a shout out to our legendary producer, Mike T, as well as a bunch of other awesome longtime patrons, Bryce L, Dave C, AF4004, who's actually a new patron. And Code Chemist, Farron F, Chris Chilmall, Blake T, Eric L, Jackpot77, Nathan W, Kevin G, Mike T, Richard M, A Random Guy, yes, that's his actual name, and Alistair M. Thanks so much, guys. Just to name a few, you guys have always been amazing. And of course, Valuetown's an HS Replay show, so obviously go to HS Replay, find the best stats, all that good stuff. Follow us on HS Replay Net. We've been posting a lot of stuff recently. I've been really trying to hammer this out with just Tiago, and we've been getting a lot of great stuff out, in that way. We're not writing as many articles these days. We're just trying to get it all out on Twitter. So try to follow that and get some cool stats that way. Any last ones here? Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any questions, so we can call it. But Slysssa, it's been a lot of fun having you on this week.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Actually, Gaara brought it up maybe a couple weeks ago, and it's just like, you should have Slysssa on. I'm like, oh yeah, we should totally have Slysssa on. Like, I know Slysssa, she lives here. So
yeah, we're neighbors.
Exactly. We're not quite neighbors, but
a
yeah,
little bit.
Pretty close. That's you're probably closer to me than anybody else in the Hearthstone community.
Right. I mean, closer than.
Yeah. So no, a lot of fun having you on. And again, for those of you that don't know Slysssa, you want to give a shout out for where people can find you and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, so I stream on Twitch almost every day except for Saturday, starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I stream, and I also have a Twitter, F2K Slysssa. It's on the screen, and I just started YouTube. Well, look that up.
Literally just started. Like I was looking, it's like wow, there's like 3 videos, like 2 videos or whatever many. So be one of the first on there. So
yeah,
Slysssa, that's amazing. You can say you were the first. Everybody loves to say first on videos. So.
Second first.
Second, exactly. Gaara, you want to do some shout outs?
Shout outs to my stream. I stream every single day as well. Garbage Shaman, you guys know.
I always think you say garbage shaman. I don't know why. I always
sounded
think
like garbage to me.
I don't know why it sounds like.
It's weird that we connotate him with garbage.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. Sorry, guy.
All social medias. Follow me on Instagram. Yeah. Everywhere, Garbist. Shaman. I'm gonna become the new British host.
You still playing WoW or no?
Yeah, I did all the mythics yesterday in one day. That was pretty efficient. So I'm staying like on top in WoW by just playing like once or twice per week, which is pretty cool. Nice. WoW is pretty like no content till like next month basically as well. Like then they will unlock all like arena.
Oh, is that how it's working? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's like nothing going on basically till 4th of September. So basically, yeah, a lot of puzzling. But tomorrow I will just go back to the Hearthstone grind. I'm gonna try to finish top 20 legend this month, and it basically starts tomorrow. The grind, I think. 20.
Are you gonna grind with warrior?
I will see. I think Maligos Druid will be the best deck. I mean, I saw 5 different people posting rank 1 legend with Maligos Druid in the last 24 hours.
Yeah. So. That sounds like a good idea. Actually, where's Maligos? Oh yeah, Maligos was on 8.27. 8.2.
Not to disregard Xixo, but Xixo hasn't done rank 1 legend in quite a while. There was like this joke going on because Xixo got rank 1 legend all the time, but he was kind of like slacking on ladder for the last year or so. But now he's back to rank 1 legend. So
yeah, that's true. I never really thought about that. Like, what has Xixo been doing in terms of HCT these days? He's
everything but ladder apparently.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's just like you can. I think people really underestimate like how big of a grind it is. If you want to compete in Hearthstone, especially in Europe, you can most of the time only do it for 1 year before you get completely burned out. I think this is the main reason why you will see world champions like quit Hearthstone or do a long break after they win worlds, because the grind for that year is absolutely inhuman. Like if you just look at Sintolol, like he had to take a very long break. Like he finished rank 1 in points last year.
Yeah.
And then he just had to take a 3-month break or whatever, like this year. And this is basically for everyone. And I think it happened to Xixo as well. But Xixo grinded for years, like much longer than most people. And he was on top for a very long time. I think you just get burned out. That's what I think. You just can't do it for like 4 years in a row.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, we still need to do more for our champions. I feel like the champs should just be like automatically invited to the prelims or something like that. As crazy and terrible as that might sound to like all the average players, I mean, you know, they still have to play. If they're not playing, then they're going to do terrible anyways, right? So it's not. It's just it's like more of a gesture to past champions. Like I just feel like we just need to do more for these people, because otherwise it's like you win the world championship and then the next season starts. And then there's, you know, like you start from 0 again. Well, maybe it's not from 0 again, but you know what I mean.
Now you have like these master tiers, which nobody will reach except 2 people in the entire world.
Yeah, so
I think like in Europe it's only Fino or so, but that like he will barely reach like master tiers.
No, Hunter Aces. Hunter
Aces. Yeah, but that's like one person.
Yeah, Hunter Ace is like by far I think the top now, right? So I agree. I mean I think what's going to happen is they're going to adjust it at least. You know, they're going to adjust it so everybody gets money, you know, like that they were originally planning on giving out. But yeah, they'll have to figure out what that right value is actually next year when that comes around. One thing I forgot to mention too is the standings. Like, so Tempo Storm's #1 now on the list. FTK is #2, Slysssa. So that's kind of
what happened. We were #1 forever, and I saw that yesterday, and I was like, wait.
I mean, Tempo Storm's just been on fire. I mean, there's
but we were on. What? Why?
Okay, I know what happened. Like Bot Control actually told me.
Okay, tell me.
Bot Control said they will finish second because Tempo Storm, they were slacking on ladder. Like we have these 4 months where 3 months count, and everyone at F2K already got like all the top finishes in the first 3 months. So basically, they kept out on points, and Tempo Storm could, like, they were second. But they could gain so many points from the last month in ladder because they didn't do anything in the first month. And just overall, they had better tournament finishes in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the tournament finishes, they've just been doing super well. Yeah. I mean...
No, but why... Like, F2K was literally, like Slysssa said, rank 1 for...
Yeah.
Till the standings came out. It's just because Puzzlestone could get so many points from ladder from the last month.
Oh, it's just literally like, from last month?
Yeah,
literally. Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was
like there was so many points they all of them could get from.
Yeah, but you know, it's also Muzzy, or I mean, more so Muzzy basically finishes top 4 at every tournament. Like I feel like every tournament he's been to recently, he's been finishing top 4. So, you know, Fino had that run too, like early on in the season. I think that's reflected in his points in F2K's points. So. You know, in the end, it's going to be a battle. I mean, I don't think are the teams going to play each other in the end? I don't even know what happens, or is it just like that's just
I
it?
don't think so.
Is that just it? Okay, okay.
It's pretty boring, right? Because they don't really hype it up or announce it anywhere. No. Like, where did you even see like the final stands?
We got the standings posted at least today. Yeah, Elliot. So They have the whole spreadsheet or the PDF with all the points on there too, like how they were distributed, like when they got it and all that stuff. It's pretty cool.
I feel like it should be posted all the time at every HCT tour stop, like during casting and stuff, like who's currently on top. And
there
like,
should just be a page that's like updated, not real time.
Yeah, as well.
It takes a little bit to update, right? It takes. Like,
shouldn't.
it's a little behind.
I mean, it
Am I
shouldn't. I mean, let's be real. Like, we're talking about like a few points being, updated.
Come on, man! It's a
like...
small indie company.
Okay. All right. Anyways, this was supposed to be shout-outs. Turned into like another segment, but we should wrap up now. But thanks to two of you guys for
shout out to
the
Blizzard.
show.
I love them so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for the puzzles, Blizzard.
Puzzle Labs, exactly. Amazing. But thanks everybody for watching. You guys are amazing. Of course, the YouTube's going to be available. YouTube.com HSReplayNet, guys. Go there. Start getting the VODs there. And then we'll be on audio on the normal channels. It's going to be on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Spotify as well. Just look up Valuetown and leave us a rating too if you enjoy the show, because it helps people find the show if they're looking for it. But that's going to be it, guys, for this week. So for Slysssa, Gaara, and myself, ChanmanV, we'll see you next week.